Thanks, Chuck. Ray, as Richard mentioned, you talked a little bit about how, and Chuck touched on this, how these programs can really energize people in a new way, and in Chuck's case with the employees, but can also tap into something that is pretty deep. You want to talk a little bit about not only the Ashton Kutcher phenomenon, but maybe some of your work in the mentoring that you also have some great experiences with across the river in Newark.
Good. I think at the very foundation of so much of our philanthropy is the human feeling, the desire to want to help somebody in need. And there's been so many books written about nothing brings us greater happiness and satisfaction than helping somebody less fortunate. The longer and deeper you allow that relationship to go, the more satisfied you feel. And I recall when I first got involved in the mid-'80s, I met this young man in Newark. He was 7 years old. His name was Atif. He lost his father, who died in prison. His mother had children by different fathers. And I invited him to come to our house for a golf dinner. It was the night before his 8th birthday. And Fuzzy Zeller, one of the golfers, was there. And he introduced himself to Atif. And he said, "What's your name?" And Atif said, I'm Atif Crawford, and I'll be 8 years old tomorrow. And Fuzzy said, "Well, happy birthday, here's $5. Before I caught him, he had gone around to all the other guests at our party and said, "You know, Mr. Smith, my name's Atif. I'm going to be 8 years old tomorrow, and Fuzzy gave me $5. By the time I stopped him, he had collected $82 from but I felt this instant attachment to Atif, and he's still with us. And I said, here's an entrepreneur, somebody that I could really relate to, and he's 29 years old now, and he's still part of our family. So I think there is that basic desire to bring about the optimal satisfaction, and I think we've all experienced it. And when we can allow our employees, our clients to all participate in a joint and team-like way, the satisfaction grows exponentially. On Twitter, I had met Ashton Kutcher about 6 months ago. I really didn't know him, and told him about malaria and the fact that 1 million children die each year, and it's all preventable with a $10 insecticide-treated mosquito net, and we're in the process of trying to cover all 700 million people at risk of malaria in Africa with mosquito nets. So over the course of our short relationship, Ashton got very popular on Twitter. And in the last several weeks, as many of you who follow Twitter 24 hours a day, I'm sure, know, he's been in a contest with CNN to see who can have the most followers in Twitter. And the contest really exploded yesterday when they were both in the 900,000 plus. Ted Turner weighed in. We thought he was going to help CNN, but because of his dislike for Time Warner, he helped Ashton. And so Ashton focused on Malaria No More, the charity we had begun, and about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon said, if I win, I'll donate $100,000 to Malaria No More. Ted Turner weighed in and said, I'll donate a similar amount to Nothing But Nets. And this went on through the night last night, and about 2 a.m., Ashton won. And he now has 1 million followers. And I was watching it this morning, not being that up to speed as I should be on new technology. And I was just amazed at the tweets coming from the followers of Ashton, how happy they were that he had won. He's now, as we speak, on the Oprah show, talking about the phenomenon of Twitter. And I kept thinking, the corporate applications that could be adapted from this. He has 1 million followers. A month ago, he wanted to say, I love you to Demi Moore, and he got 550,000 people on Twitter to say, I love you to Demi Moore. So I think we're looking at a whole new landscape of potential. And this morning, corporate sponsors are hovering around this malaria, Ashton Kutcher, Twitter, Oprah. So I think as we look forward under this new paradigm, we really have to think about all the opportunities in technology, something like Twitter.
Thanks, Ray. It's been very, very moving stories. I hope you weren't one of the 550,000 with Demi Moore. Do you tweet?